Hello, friends. Welcome to the final episode of Badass Engineers. Woo! I'm so excited today to have two amazing guests. I've got Isabella Mascarenhas, who is the VP of RS Grassroots Education and the person who made Badass Engineer possible. And I've also got Navjot Sawhney, who is the founder of the Washing Machine Project. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Yeah. You first, Nav.
Thanks. Sure. Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, Shrouk. I've been so excited for this. I've been looking forward to it all week. So thank you so much for inviting me along.
Honestly, pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, so my name is Nav. It means new in Punjabi, and I'm the founder of the Washing Machine Project.
Yay! Do you want to say a bit more about what the Washing Machine Project does?
Yeah, sure. So the Washing Machine Project make manual washing machines that save time, water, and effort for people who hand wash clothes around the world. So We're really lucky here in the UK to have electric washing machines. But unfortunately, billions of people around the world don't have access to electric washing machines and get on their hands and knees in lakes, rivers, and streams, in buckets, using cold water, causing back pain, joint pain, and skin irritation for hours and hours on end. And it's a problem that primarily affects women. And so we're trying to come up with a solution to specifically target this problem and empower women and give them greater agency over their lives.
So you're really using engineering to empower refugee women, which is incredible. And Isabella, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Isabella. Everybody just calls me Is. And yeah, I head up our Grassroots Education at the Electrocomponents group. What does that mean? So we called it Grassroots because, in my opinion, I think we need to start a bit more of a movement around people that can empower young engineers, particularly student engineers, to give them a voice, to give them opportunities, to help them to be the most rounded engineer that they can be. And so our program kind of encompasses everything from tech skills to employability skills to competitions to volunteering opportunities. Yeah, and you'll hear a little bit more later about why some of that stuff's so important.
And it's doing such amazing work. Like I really see myself reflected in that kind of engineering when I see that. Thank you so much for doing that. And you've also got a super exciting partnership with the Washing Machine Project, so Electrocomponents does, right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
What happened?
I'm delighted about that. So Nav and I have both been involved with the rather awesome organisation Engineers Without Borders.
I love them.
Yeah, they're brilliant, right? So about 3 and a bit years ago, they run a competition called the Engineering for People Design Challenge, which is all about encouraging students in universities to create technical solutions to social and environmental issues in developing countries. So Nav and I actually met because we were judges together on that panel 3.5 years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and we had a little chat day, and he told me about some of the stuff that he was doing with cook stoves at the time.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, what a guy and what a mission. And then, yeah, I invited him last year to come and be a speaker at Reflect, which you were also a part of last year, Shrouk.
Also, I saw that speech. My God, I was floored. That was incredible, Nav.
There you go. Yeah. That speech at Reflect was what, yeah, I rang Nav afterwards. I was like, ooh, how can we do more with you? And I'll hand over to Nav to tell you the rest of the story.
Yeah, and Reflect was an amazing event, by the way. It's so good. I'm really looking forward to this one this year as well. It's going to be really, really amazing. So yeah, I received the call from Is saying, you know, how else can we support? And we have this really ambitious mission over the next, 3 years to develop and deploy thousands of washing machines all around the world. And we believe in the power of partnerships to make that happen. So, ethically reminded, globally responsible organizations that really help the people and planet. And Electrocomponents is such a good fit for the organization in its ESG goals. And yeah, it's been a year in the making. Lots of work behind the scenes, and yeah, we're really excited to now launch it. We launched it last month, and we've had 140 million people view the press release in different countries around the world, La Repubblica, the BBC. But more importantly, we're here to make impact, positively impacting 100,000 people, majority of women around the world, saving million liters of water, and distributing 7,500 washing machines. So this has all been made possible with a charity called the TWMP Foundation as well. So yeah, it's a really great.
I can't even begin. Wow.
I have to say thank you to all of the colleagues at Electrocomponents as well, because so many of them have totally bought into the mission, and it wouldn't have been possible. As with so many things, right? It's never one person; it's a whole team of people. So yeah, it's really
big
nice.
Shout outs. We love you. Okay, so today we've got loads of questions in this bag, and we're gonna try to answer as many as we can in 20 minutes. How do you feel about that?
Let's do it.
Boop noodles.
Do you want to give some context there, Shrouk, or no?
Yeah, sure. So we were having a chat, and I don't know why there was a snake emoji, but there was a snake emoji, and I call snakes snack because of that video that I saw on YouTube, and like it calls different snakes different names, and one of them is a boop noodle.
There we go.
Does that explain it?
Yeah.
So if you haven't had the chance to send us your questions, I'm watching the comments, so feel free to ask us questions live, and we'll answer them during the episode as well. So are you ready for the first one?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
There's background music as well.
I know. I mean, I'm a professional. What can I say?
I keep saying, I don't know why, and if anyone watching can figure out a way of doing this, why has Teams not invented hold music for that really awkward moment when you're sharing your screen and you're like, oh, can you see my screen yet? I'm just finding hold music.
I remember you telling me about that yesterday. I was like, this is genius. Like, somebody needs to jump on this now.
There you go. And it'll probably be an engineer, right?
Right. And then we can use it for our badass engineers as well. Excuse me. Okay, so this question is for both of you, and it says, how can we make leadership more inclusive? That's a really good question.
I can start this one, and I'd love to hear his point of view, because I mean, she's in a large corporation in an area of leadership. So I think it's really like we've all been in corporations that we look up to our leaders, right? And we need to lead by example wherever we are in the world, and I think organizations are really, really crucial for that, because whatever the leaders are doing, it comes from the top down, and it is ingrained into the kind of DNA of the organization, and I think that's about communication. It's about taking responsibility and ownership, and being accessible and approachable. And you'll find that if those things take place, you have a kind of nurturing organization that leads with kindness and love. And a lot of the Gen Z that are coming up are looking for these things. They're looking. They want it. They're really fired up, and this is understanding the Gen Z community is going to be so powerful.
Oh, I mean, also when you understand, please can you teach me? I think a lot of the time when people use the term leadership, they don't think of people who can empathize, who can be emotional, who can teach, and maybe sometimes like a really outdated view of leadership. And it would be beautiful to see that change and become more norm. What do you think, Isabella?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with everything that's been said. And being quite an ardent youth champion myself, yeah, I spend a lot of time with young people and hearing what their views of leadership are and their expectations moving forward. It's so different to what we've got now. And I think that there's something around challenging our perceptions of what a leader should be. And by that, I mean, you know, people are totally different, right? And one man's hero is another man's villain. And you need to have different types of characters that different characters can look up to and respect and resonate with. And I think behaviours as well that leaders show. So, you know, not everybody is an out and out extrovert who's charismatic and bolshy and, you know, blows their own trumpet. And we're not all like that. And that's okay too, because there's people that will be like that will be seeing you and thinking, well, hang on a minute, I don't need to have those characteristics to get to the top. And the other thing that I think is really important is vulnerability. Being human and knowing that it's okay to say, I don't know. And if you don't know, then that's when you surround yourself with people who do know, and you listen to them and you rely on them and you champion when they do something brilliant. It's not all about the me. It's about the people you surround yourself with and the behaviours that you demonstrate, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. And I love that bit about vulnerability as well. We've got some comments, and some people are really applauding the idea of the teams interludes.
It might become a thing.
Watch when it comes out next week as an update or something.
You can claim royalties, probably is.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll just champion the person that came up with the actual solution.
And we've got a comment from Lizzie Whittle, and it says, as a female designer who's recently graduating, which is going to be this July, what advice would you give for getting into such a competitive industry that can also sometimes be daunting? It can be daunting. Even for me, it can be daunting. And I've been in that industry for a little bit now.
It's such a really valid question. I think please go ahead, and love to hear your thoughts, Shrouk, as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, as you've worked a lot with young people and you train young people to get into this industry, right? So what kind of advice would you give?
To getting into such a competitive industry. So I think there are lots of things that you can do to make yourself stand out from the crowd, because I think, you know, the other thing is obviously you've got such huge cohorts of engineers graduating every year. And actually, I'm going to end up sounding like a stuck record through this, because volunteering is a huge way of making yourself stand out. It shows a level of ambition and drive and wishing to expand your network and your opportunities. And I think that's really attractive to a lot of employers. I remember seeing a statistic actually from LinkedIn a couple of years ago that was saying that 1 in 3 employers in the UK actually look at whether a young person or a fresh graduate has done volunteering.
Really? I had no idea.
As another way of seeing what sort of character you're recruiting, right?
Yeah.
So that's huge. The power of network is massive.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah. So this is going to come out wrong, but just put yourself in as many places as possible. Say yes to everything when you're entering the workplace, and you need to create your own importance. I think you have to just say yes to everything, right? And as you go through those experiences, you'll learn the things that you want to drop out.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, there's I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but there's this really interesting diagram that I saw once that's called the diamond of burnout.
Okay. I might be familiar with that.
So when you're starting your career, right, and you're in the middle of the diamond and you're in that broadest piece, that's where you say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And as you move through your career and you move up the ladder and you get all these new opportunities and whatever, that's when you start to go into the tapered corners of the diamond. And that's when you start to drop the opportunities that don't resonate with you. But in the process, you'll find the things that really matter to you. And passion's such a huge thing to demonstrate that makes it really exciting when someone can see your passion for something. So yeah, there's my very long-winded answer. I think
it's not long-winded, it's perfect.
Networking, volunteering, and just go for all the opportunities you can.
I love it, and I love the bit about balancing it out later on as well. And Nav, you've been part of this industry for a long time as well. What kind of advice do you think would have helped you when you were a graduate?
Yeah, so is it Lizzie that asked the question?
Yes.
So I would recommend Lizzie finding a mentor right now. Someone that will that Lizzie can rely on and can help Lizzie navigate this industry, and just talk to once a week, 15 minutes, half an hour, just to talk about applications, the industry, how it works, and things like that. That is so powerful. So really, right?
Yeah,
And I'd love if someone reaches out to Lizzie right now to offer their support, because that's the power of the network. And Lizzie, if you don't get anyone, just let me know, and I'm sure we can connect you with someone. That being said, volunteering is so powerful. The washing machine project would not have been in this position if it wasn't for volunteering. We've relied on over 150 volunteers from all around the world. 5,000 hours.
150 volunteers! Wow.
Yeah, 5,000 hours of pro bono support, and they've gone on to do some amazing things all around the world. Some great organizations in the UN or Oxfam, or these are engineers that are humanitarian minded that want to enter into that industry, and they use the washing machine project as a stepping stone. So I would say find a mentor, and I would really second that kind of volunteering initiative. Also, don't worry, because there's millions of students going through exactly what Lizzie's going through. I graduated 8 or 9 years ago, and I applied for 750 jobs. Got 11 interviews and 2 job offers, one of them being Dyson. And so this is a really tough time right now.
Yeah.
So use this time to skill up, take a course, learn, and take your time, because it's okay. It's fine. Time is there's the world is going through a pandemic, and everyone's a bit more forgiving right now.
Hello, Kush. Hello, Kush. How are you?
I'm a future female engineer.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing advice. Liz says, thank you so much, Nav. I will definitely reach out. Thank you, Liz.
Oh, look at that. So I think Lizzie just found a mentor, and also the gorgeous Wayne in my team. I can't champion how great my team are. He's just such a lovely, lovely guy, and he's a really experienced learning and development professional, Lizzie. So if we can help you in any way, let us know.
Oh, this is so beautiful. I love watching this sort of unfold. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Lizzie. I want to hear updates, please. And thank you. I can't believe we're at this time, but I'm going to take more questions, guys, and I'm going to make this a bit of a longer episode. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. And just while you're doing that, Wayne, you're on holiday. Enjoy your holiday. Go holiday, man.
I've actually got to wash my hair after this, so I gotta. I'm joking.
Wait, you've got to wash it? Okay, because like people say I've got to wash my hair, and like it's a thing that's a joke, but for me that's a whole day of something.
Okay.
Do you know what, Shrouk? I had this same conversation with someone at work, because I said that. I was like, oh, I'm washing the kids' hair on the weekend. And they were like, what, that's like the whole weekend in? And I was like, have you seen my children? So My husband's Jamaican, so the Jamaican Indian mix. Both of my kids have got enormous mops of ringlets, and they're absolutely stunning. But it literally is an entire weekend's activity.
It literally is, and like, you know, I'm not going to do that every week.
Yeah.
Say again, Nav.
I was just saying, Iz has 2 kids, so it's like 1 kid each day of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, yeah, I wash my hair like once a month, and a lot of people with this type of hair do. So yeah, it's normal. It doesn't get greasy. All right, I'm gonna take another question out of the bag. Are you ready? Okay. Ooh, this is exciting. Okay, what does it say? Okay, this question is for both of you again, and it says, I would love to know if either of you had role models when you were growing up. Would you like to start, Nav?
I would love to. So I think for me, the standout role model growing up was my mum.
Yes! We love people who talk about their mums.
Yeah, and for me, it's a really very personal story. And so yeah, my mum grew up in poverty, the oldest of her siblings, 7 siblings, and she started work at the age of 12,
What?
tutoring, and she's 70 now, and she still works.
Wow.
She came to her brother died unfortunately of cancer at the age of 16, so she was paying for his treatment. She came to the UK with £5 in her pocket.
Wow.
And her husband died. My dad died when I was 8 years old. So this is such a badass lady who
yes, she is.
Who has instilled so many positive, so many positive feelings and initiatives and just outlooks on life. Hard work. Looking after your family, women empowerment. I've seen firsthand how powerful women can be. I've grown up with 2 sisters, and I'm the youngest. So my mum has been amazing. She's gone through so much hardship. She still works hard, and she's my #1 supporter, and she always will. So my mum is my role model.
Incredible. What's her name?
Yeah, and I've Mohini, but you can call her auntie.
We love you, Mahini. We love you, Auntie Mahini.
And I've given her so much trouble over the years, and she's. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Nav. That was really powerful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Have you had role models growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, much like Nav, obviously my mum and dad, both really, really interesting stories there. But actually, I seem to have a soft spot for either end of the generation scale. I absolutely love the younger generation, but the oldies. So for me, my grandfather's sister was a lady. Well, I was going to say it's a lady called Auntie Judy. She was just called Judy, but she was one of the most phenomenal women I've ever met, and one of the kindest souls I've ever come across. She had a really important status, actually. So she was the vice mayor of the state of Mangalore in India.
Hey!
Yeah. But so all of my grandfather's sisters were nuns, with the exception of Auntie Judy. But she absolutely lived those values. So she basically set up a home for women who were victims of domestic violence. Wow. Out of her own pocket and in her own home. She's absolutely beautiful. And I have memories of when I was little. I go to India really regularly. And whenever we went to Mangalore, we stayed with Auntie Judy. And one year I noticed when I was around about 16 that there wasn't a single mirror in the house. And I asked her about it, and her response was, why would I want to spend time looking at myself when there are so many other people in the world that need help that I should be looking to?
Oh my God.
And that really, really, really resonated with me and stuck in my head, and informed so much of what I do and how I behave now. She was just amazing.
That
So, yeah.
is the most selfless thing. Wow.
And she said to me once that she would much rather be the ninja in the background, just getting stuff done, and letting other people have the limelight. And I think that's so important. I really love that sentiment.
That's really, really kind. I love
Which is
that.
partly why, when you were bullying me to be on this, Shrouk, I was like, no, this is about you.
No. So like, I think they're both valid. I think it's completely valid to be the person who does the good stuff and, you know, stay in the background. But it's also fine if you want to shout about the cool stuff you do too. And I know you don't want to shout about it, but I want you to, because you're doing such amazing stuff, both of you. And I want the whole world to know, right? So actually, Badass Engineers has raised a lot of money for charity this season. So we have raised £1,350 to charity, and it was part to the IIT, part to the AFBE, Association for Black and Ethnic Minority Engineers, and also Shrouk El-Attar Trust, or SEAT. And SEAT this year has provided food and shelter to 19 LGBT plus refugees who are suffering from the COVID crisis. Also helped furnish an LGBT plus organization's office in the North African region. And we've also produced this show actually in conjunction with Badass Engineers called El Kanaba, and it's 100% in Arabic by LGBT Arabs for LGBT Arabs, which is very rare to have positive stuff about people like us in our own language. And we've had over 27,000 views. So thank you to everybody who's participated in Badass Engineers. You did this.
That's so cool.
Mabruk. My partner is Jordanian Arabic, so.
Oh, really? Oh, I love Jordanian accent. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm Egyptian. Mine is not as beautiful.
It is.
Oh, we've got some really nice comments. We've got people saying, wow, that's fantastic. And shout, we want to hear huge congrats for the fundraising. And that's amazing. Well done. Thank you, friends. And thank you, both of you, for being the baddest ass. I know we have already gone over the time, but how about one final question just to wrap it up?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sounds good.
Okay, this is going to be so hard to edit. Oh my God, I could be here all day, honestly. Oh, okay, so this question is from for Isabella, and it says, how did you become a VP at one of the biggest electronics companies?
Oh.
Also, can you teach me? Because, you know, I want to be VP too one day.
Yeah, you can totally do that. You can absolutely do that. So I'm going to bring it back to the networking point again, and the saying yes to opportunities. So I volunteered again to be part of a judging panel for a competition, and I met a couple of people that work at RS and Electros, one of them quite influential, and just had a whole conversation about what I do, the passion that I have for developing young people, and yeah, didn't really think much of it. And then a really interesting opportunity came off the back of that. And
off of a voluntary opportunity?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was invited to be part of this judging panel. It was totally in keeping with what I do as a profession, but it was going to be quite time consuming and all the rest of it. And as I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, no, hello, it's young engineers. I totally want to see what that's all about. And yeah, that's basically how it came about. So, you know, even as my husband says in his little Jamaicanisms, even as a big woman, I would advise you to still keep your networking opportunities open, because you just never know what will come off the back of them.
Yeah, that is so important. Thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you both for being here. You're both a force of nature, and the washing machine project is doing some incredible work. Please, guys, check it out, and of course, check out RS Grassroots Education's work as well. They do a lot of other cool engineering stuff too, not just me. But yeah, if you want to enter a prize draw, we are giving away some merch and some RS components, PCB necklaces, and a toolbox too. All you have to do is tag an engineer who inspires you in the comments, and then you automatically be in the draw. Thank you, everybody, and I hope I will see you maybe another season.
Yes, thank you so much, Shrouk.
Thank you. Mwah.
You guys.
Massalama.
Yeah, great to be with you both. Have a lovely evening, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.